sad faces out there. I don't know why though. There's only fans back there clapping. But maybe it's just me. It was a good night tonight. Obviously the victory, but you know, I would love to win every fight as a shutout. I would love to have every fight take place where, you know, I barely get touched. But, you know, you have to win fights like this sometimes. And I talk a lot about the greats because I've studied the sport since I've been a kid. I watched a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard for whatever reason leading up to this fight. Tommy Hearns won, Leonard Hearns 2, Roberto Duran won, Roberto Duran 2. And just the mannerisms, how you approach the big fights, how you deal with adversity. These are things they had to deal with. So, you know, this is really a notch under my belt. I'm pleased, I'm happy. Of course, again, I would love it to be a shutout and, you know, a dominant performance from the standpoint of the scorecards, but we eked out a tough victory against a guy that a lot of people thought was going to knock me out and stop me. And we did what champions do. We got off the canvas and we got stronger. So I'm happy with the victory tonight.
Good. Questions? Go right here.
Now, you're trained
You got the microphone, sir.
Sir, we got the mic right back here, sir. Go ahead, Dan.
Andre, congratulations on your victory tonight.
Thank you.
We've seen, as you said, you participate in any of your fights that are clean shutouts or completely dominating one-sided fights. Tonight, obviously, that was not the case. Did you feel like this was, in your long career, your toughest fight?
I mean, a knockdown would cause people to suggest that, but I've been in some tough fights. Excuse me?
You've been down before, though, once early.
Very. So this is my second time being down, and we got up that time too. So I don't know. I got to go back and assess it and see. I mean, I've been in some tough fights, regardless of what, you know, it may look like. You know, some of these fights are really, really tough. They look easy, but this was, you know, obviously one of the tougher ones against a great champion. I knew this was going to be this kind of fight. I didn't expect this to be a blowout. I mean, this guy's 30-0, like I'm 30-0. With 9 or 10 title defenses, he's got 3 belts. That doesn't come overnight. You know, this is a guy who's a road warrior. He's going overseas. He'll go anywhere to fight these champions or defend his championship. So, you know, he's a real fighter, but we showed that, you know, we can eat a big shot and get up. I mean, when he knocked me down, I honestly wasn't hurt. You know, I guess that's what they call a flash knockdown. I just looked up, I was on the canvas, and I smiled. I said, okay. Here we go. Now the fight starts. I felt like just over the rounds, I slowly broke him down. I felt like he was getting tired. And obviously he didn't want to be inside. And I tried to keep him there as much as possible, but he's a great champion.
One other thing for you, Andre. In so many of your fights, the way you've won has been enough offense, but, you know, obviously tremendous defense, a lot of movement, you know, boxing skills. It seemed to me that tonight you really bit down and stood and fought him. Was that part of your plan to try to exchange with him at all, or try to get on the inside and maybe avoid the big shots?
I mean, it wasn't the ideal plan. I knew that, I mean, you guys know I'm not a runner. You know, I move the ring, I move around the ring, and I try to, you know, use ring generalship and not have any wasted movements. But after the knockdown, you know, you got to be able to throw the game plan out the window. So we still had a game plan, but Verge did a great job of staying in my ear, telling me we need every single round. I looked at him in his eye and I responded, and it just, I don't know, it just caused me to feel like I couldn't leave anything to change. So that's probably why I was, you know, exchanging more and more flat-footed.
Andre, back there.
First, could you describe what happened there in rounds 4 or 5 when things started to turn? What he did, was for you, Bert. Rounds 4, 5, 6, when things started to turn, what did you see out of Andre, and what was the plan at that point?
Well, earlier, just watching Sergey, he has certain tendencies, and we felt that he would tire down the stretch a little bit and leave himself open for clean shots, and I thought that the clean shots would be the difference. He was aggressive, but I think anybody in here would have to admit that he fought on the back foot more than he's fought against everybody. Andre stood his ground more than anybody, simply not afraid of him. So when the clean shots started landing, I felt confident each round. He was aggressive, but you have to be effective aggression. And without a doubt, we landed the cleaner punches, but I just wanted to keep him in the fight. You know, let him know that he was there, keep showing him different things, keep him off balance, and more than anything, counter him when he tried to counter. And we were successful at that at times.
Andre, back here. Lance.
Andre, congratulations, Andre. Way to go.
Thank you.
Do you think about what the judges are scoring in these rounds as the fight is progressing? Obviously, this fight was decided by 2 judges giving you the 12th round. What was your mindset in those last 3 rounds about where the fight stood and what you needed to do?
I mean, as a fighter, you have a general sense, but you never know, especially in professional boxing. You just never know. Sometimes you see a fight and you think you know who won, and the judge has it 8 points one way and 8 points another way, so you just never know. So I just felt like I needed every round, and that's what Verge kept telling me, and I trust his eye and I trust his instincts, so I didn't question it. I felt like I had to go out there and somewhat dog him every round and just leave him down.
Andre, congratulations on the big win. Question. After the knockdown in round 2, did you make any adjustments, or the way rounds 3 through 12 went, was that always you and Virgil's game plan?
Again, I mean, I obviously didn't envision getting off the canvas tonight. But I've been in this sport so long. You know, I've been around this sport so long. You know, I've watched this sport for so many years. These types of things happen. And of course, someone like myself who wins a lot of his fights going away, sometimes you can get spoiled. You know, but I told my wife in the locker room, I said, you know, there's obviously a part of your pride that's dashed and you feel a certain way about it, but man, I got up tonight. I smiled at the guy that was the biggest puncher in the division. I went up in weight to fight for his belt, and then I went and took the fight to him and closed the show. So I'm proud of myself. Well, we talked about that a little earlier. I mean, the urgency probably caused me to step on the gas a little bit more and just, again, feel like I needed every round. So it did change a little bit.
Andre, you know, obviously we spoke earlier this week just about how the public perceived you know, and I think that the widespread perception that a lot of your victories up to this point have been because of your skill. Is there any satisfaction that you gain in kind of being able to show maybe this side of yourself as a fighter?
I mean, I know what I have in me, you know, and I know that sometimes the general perception is not always accurate. And, you know, sometimes you get touted as a cute boxer, or, you know, he's slick, but I know what I have on the inside of me. I know. I've been doing this my whole life. You know, I get hit with big shots all the time. In sparring, in fights, sometimes you guys don't see it, maybe because I don't react or wobble or something like that. But I've been biting down for all my life. So I know what I have in me. Just sometimes when something like that happens, the masses get a chance to say, okay, maybe he does have heart, or maybe he is more than just a boxer. But I've always known what I had in me.
Just one more. In the first 3 rounds, it seems like he was able to kind of land his jab a bit. His jab. In the first 3 rounds, it seems like that was landing quite a bit. Then it kind of seemed like maybe you started ducking a little bit more and maybe taking a step back to avoid it. What is it that you saw that maybe allowed you to kind of find that range?
Oh man, I don't know. You know, it's just things are happening so fast in there. It's hard to explain, but obviously when you get hit with a couple of good power jabs, you know you're not in the right position. Something's not right. When it comes to the Eastern, European system, they keep their hands in place. They don't have any wasted movements. They shoot right where their hands are, and he's very technically sound. And again, he doesn't waste anything. So I think just feinting a little bit more and making him kind of commit and then countering, letting him get ready to load up and take that big leap to throw the big right hand, and then stopping him in the middle of that with a power jab. Just little things like that along the way, I think just got his attention. And then again, just letting him feel me. Like you can feel after you knock a guy down if he's intimidated. You can feel if he's being reluctant, or you can feel if he's got a mentality as if to say, I'm coming to get that back. You can feel it. There's nothing that needs to be said, and I think more than any technical adjustment that I made, he felt it.
Andre, with the electronic fervor report, which is EURweb.com, African American News and Entertainment. My question to you is this. First of all, congratulations. You put up a real good fight. There are those in the audience and in the press who believe that you lost. What do you say to those people? And if you should decide to have a rematch, when do you plan to do it?
Well, to the first question, it's a close fight. I can't really argue it. I got to sit down and watch it to really give a clear assessment. He's got fans and supporters. They're not going to agree with the decision. Certain media members aren't going to agree with the decision. It's okay. But I think it's one thing to say a fight was close and I edged it out versus saying that it was a highway robbery, which I think they were up here saying a few minutes before we got up here. And of course, they're going to do that as well. It's part of the game. It comes with the territory. And, I hope they're just gracious about it because I did what I had to do to win. So I really don't have anything specific to say about that.
Andre, right here in the middle. Just, like you said, you obviously would like to, blow them out one every round, but with it being such a close fight, can you just talk looking forward? What does that do for your career? To have a fight like this that was really exciting that people wanted to see again, what does that do for your career in terms of more marketable, getting more eyes on you, more people wanting to be interested in what you're doing?
I think it's good. I always want to give the fans a great show. They're paying a lot of money to come, pay tickets, flights, hotels. Obviously, this is my first pay-per-view, so they had to pay to see this fight. And, from the feedback that I'm getting, people enjoyed it, so that makes me really, really happy.
Congratulations. You received criticism during your career for having maybe a less than accepted using style. This time you had just a great fight. How much do you think this really helped you, especially in your first fight on pay-per-view?
I can barely hear you, like the last part. Sorry about that.
This fight was so much more exciting than maybe some people expected. How much do you think that helps your stock as you try to, rise in the American star?
That's what you guys asked for, so that's what you guys got tonight. It's like Sugar Ray when, he fought Roberto Duran the first time. Obviously that man, Sugar Ray Leonard, has shown heart plenty of times in his career up until that point, but that was the first time that the masses and the media said, oh, he's not just, this cute golden boy. He actually has heart. And it's unfortunate sometimes that you have to get in fights like that to prove that, but it comes with the territory, and it's okay, man. I'm happy. I'm glad the fans enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and maybe that'll put some of the critique to bed about this or about that. So I think it's a bonus. I think it's a plus.
Straight back.
Hi, Andre. Congratulations on a huge win. I just have a question for you about inside fighting. It seems to me that inside fighting these days is a bit of a lost art, even at the top level of the sport. And it also seems to be lost on a lot of viewers. And I'd just love to hear from you about why you think that is.
I don't know why it is, but I'm thankful that Verge, early in my professional career, he had the foresight to start working on my inside game. I can remember when he first started to introduce me to inside fighting. He put his body vest on and he'd have his mitts on, and I just rolled my eyes like, man, here we go again. It was just uncomfortable. The things that he was showing me, I wanted to be on the outside, I wanted to be, at range, and all of a sudden it just started showing up around the Allen Green fight and the Super 6. It started to show up out of nowhere. And he knew I was going to need that in fights like that and in fights like these. I just think it's not worked on enough. I think that's the thing, but I think, it's always been a special art in the sport. If you go back to the older fighters, man, inside fighting was, a staple. And as you saw tonight, when you're fighting a great champion like Kovalev, who loves range and who wants you in a certain spot, you may have to do something different like we did, which is slip inside and disrupt him and wear him down to the body, which we did. So I don't know if I would have won this fight tonight if I didn't have a good inside game.
Right here for congratulations. Many fighters feel that they win the fight on their own, but how much credit do you give your great trainer, Virgil Hunter, to keep you your mind in the fight and also to teach you something new to win this fight, which you did? And again, congratulations.
Well, throughout the rounds, like I just said earlier, he kept me in the fight, and I'm in the moment. I kind of sense and feel what's going on, but I don't fully know. He sees it all. He's on the outside. He's the real MVP tonight because he kept me in the fight mentally, and he just told me he had the right amount of intensity. He told me all the right things tonight, and it's just a beautiful thing. I couldn't dream of working with anybody else or being trained by anybody else, and I give him so much credit tonight for this victory.
Thank you.
Hey, Andre back here. You were down 5 points on 2 of the scorecards with 6 rounds to go, which makes your comeback without any knockdowns or points deducted in your favor kind of one of the more impressive comebacks in a 12-round decision. At what point in the fight did you feel it was starting to turn your way?
I mean, I knew I was closing the gap. I just didn't know for sure. You know, we see some crazy things in boxing, but I knew he didn't want to fight on the inside. You know, he wanted to hold on the inside. He didn't want to exchange. Every now and again, he'd throw a body shot. So I knew I was becoming effective. I could sense it being drained. I could tell. And, you know, Virgil doing a good job in, you know, during the round to you know, remind me, don't let him rest. You know, don't let him get comfortable. So, yeah, definitely.
Hey, congratulations, Andre. This is
thank you, Smitty.
Yeah, no, this is kind of for you and Verge. At the end of the day, this fight was so close, and the young lady here brought up a good point about the inside fighting, something that you taught me a little bit about in our ring. It boiled down to it was really close, but it was about who was doing more of what they wanted to do after the 4 criteria. And I felt you were doing more after round 5 of what you wanted to do. We could talk about that, and I'd like to hear Virgil's comments on that as well. I had a 115, 113 SOG.
I appreciate that, Smitty. Thank you. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what it was. You know, I was able to do what I wanted to do, which was dictate mid-range, dictate inside. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but, you know, these are championship fights. These are, you know, former champion, current champion, fighting each other. The margin is slim. It's not always going to be a Picasso type of performance, but you have to find those ebbs, those flows, those niches, and ride them as long as you can. And tonight I saw he did not want to be inside. I saw that I could slip inside quickly. I was trying to break his hold and then work. And we were very effective. I was hitting him with some clean body shots in there. Those body shots with a 10-ounce glove, they're gonna drain you. I don't care who you are. And he just slowly went down. So when he tried to make his run, I think in the 11th or 12th, you know, he didn't really have the steam that he wanted to have on the punches, and, you know, boiled down to who wanted it more. And I think me getting up and him sensing and feeling that he's still in this fight, he's not discouraged, also drained him and took some of his confidence.
Thanks, Smitty. I have to echo what Andre said. You know, it's funny when you have this persona, this percussion persona, and they're willing to engage you on the inside, but it's obvious that they had planned not to fight on the inside at all every time. Whenever a fighter grabs you in headlocks, he don't want to fight on the inside. And holding and pushing and shoving back. If he would have fought on the inside, and that what he was supposed to be, we would have saw a different fight. And I don't have a problem saying that. But he did not want to fight on the inside, despite being supposedly being the stronger fighter, the nastier fighter, and the bigger puncher. He did not want to fight on the inside. So I told Dre his jab was going to be the most effective punch. And then later on, he'd get the body shots to it, make sure that they were clean. Sergey showed that heart and that aggression, but it wasn't effective aggression after 6. He was just throwing. Without really thought, without setting up anything. He was just throwing, so he started giving himself over for clean punches, and I think that was the difference.
Well, congratulations on your victory, and to you as well, Virgil. It was a very close fight. You won the second half, he won the first half, and he put you down in the first half as well. You did show your boxing brilliance by changing the pattern of the fight. It is being seen around the world as controversial, as you'll see when you look on social media and everywhere. You earned your victory on the judges' card, so you're the champion. Surely now, when a fight is so controversial, that it's generated so much interest, these are the fights that generate an even bigger second fight. So we're going to see you fight this guy next for a second time and show how you can dominate him, which you weren't able to do till the latter part of the fight in this one.
Yeah, I think that's a question for James Prince. And my lawyer, Josh Dubin, who did a tremendous job in negotiating this fight. I've never ducked and dodged anybody. And honestly, I think the second fight will be a lot worse because I've been in there with him. I know what he has. And honestly, there's no disrespect to him. I don't know how many adjustments he can make. His style is kind of set. But we're going to entertain, all offers, and we're going to see what the best decision to make is.
Because you told us in the week, we clearly know this about you, you like the greatest challenges. Presumably this was the greatest challenge of your career so far.
I think I answered that earlier. I don't know. I mean, it was obviously a challenge, but I've been in some really tough fights, man. I really have. I mean, believe it or not, the Edison Miranda fight was probably one of the toughest fights of my career. And a lot of people on paper write him off, but you got to realize that was an old grizzly veteran, and he wasn't all the way done. He was on the verge of being done, and he needed a victory against a young fighter like me. Probably one of the hardest punches I've ever faced, and that's probably one of the toughest fights that I've ever had in my career. So this was a tough fight. It wasn't anything I hadn't been used to. I took his punches well. I literally smiled when he knocked me down and got up, and I think I should get some credit for that, honestly, because he's the big boogeyman in the light heavyweight division. We moved up in weight. We said we wanted to fight him, and we didn't run, we didn't duck, we didn't dodge. We fought him right where we wanted to fight, and we got the victory. So I can't do anything about the controversy. There's close fights, in boxing, and if I honestly felt like I didn't win this fight, if I honestly felt like he got robbed, I feel like I'm the type of person I'll literally tell you guys, I don't know what happened tonight. I appreciate the judges, but I lost. That's not the case.
James?
We're going to take 2 more questions, but before that, I want to remind everyone the HBO replay of the fight is going to be next Saturday night at 10:35 p.m.
Dre, congratulations on the win, and I am one of the media members that had you win. Though some of the media members had you losing, does that motivate you at all? I mean, I know you're a level-headed guy, you don't really let things bother you, but do you want to get back in there and win the next fight in a dominant fashion to kind of, and this being in there with him, after being in there with him, do you feel like you're going to be on cruise control the next time, or are you going to do something different from the first round on?
I mean, I just said I think that a second fight would be, a lot different and a lot clearer cut, just because I've been in there with him. I've processed his punches, I've processed his style. I know what he has. And obviously, they're gonna try to make some adjustments. He has a great team behind him. But honestly, there's nothing in me that's like, let me go to training camp Monday morning because I got to prove to everybody I won. I did my job tonight and I won. I got up off the canvas, and if all 3 judges had me winning by 1 point, I don't know if they all 3 can be wrong. So I'm going to enjoy my victory. If there is a controversy brewing, that's unfortunate. People are entitled to their opinions. I'm not going to be upset because one may feel I lost. Hey, you guys feel how you feel. You have that right. And I'm going to go enjoy this victory because we earned it.
It got kind of rugged and hairy at points. Were you guys content with the officiating with the referee? They let you guys wrestle at points?
I think Bird did a great job. I mean, you can't. It's a fine line. You can't allow the fighter and referee to get away from you, but you also have to let the fighters fight to a degree. And I think he let us work out of some of those exchanges. Sometimes he would hit me behind the head. I'm thinking, Bird, where you at, man? But then, I would come back and rake him across the face with a right hand or something. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's letting us work this out. So I think he did a great job, in live time and in real time. I think he did a tremendous job tonight.
Wilder, Joshua.
No, guys, sorry. Any other comments?
2 more.
Okay.
Okay, right here first.
Excuse me? I don't know, man. I don't have a vote. I honestly don't. I hope so. That was the talk before the fight. I hope it doesn't change now.
Andre, you did great. You won the light heavyweight. You moved up to heavyweight. Wilder or Joshua?
It's too big, man. You got, listen, I've talked about this a lot. I know it sounds crazy. I know it does. But I feel like I have a Roy Jones type of situation in me before my career is over. And I have a great guy to do it with, Mackie Shieldstone, but it's got to be the right guy. I'm not going to let my ego get in the way. There's certain guys you just don't mess with, and those guys are too big. I respect them, but you got to find the right opponent in the right situation. So maybe one day, maybe not, but not those 2. I'm thankful for this victory tonight. I'm thankful for my team. My wife, I dedicated this fight to her tonight simply because she's such a role warrior. And she holds the house down. She takes care of my family, and she doesn't get any credit. It's not that she's looking for it, but I want to shout her out tonight for doing just a wonderful job throughout the years, dealing with all the ups and downs, dealing with some of the things that you guys write about. She's got to read it, and you know, she just hangs in there, man, and I would not be able to do what I do. I wouldn't be able to go to camp for 8 weeks without her. You know, it just wouldn't happen. So there is no me without her, and I just want to shout my wife out tonight. Tiffany, I love you, thank you, and we did it, baby.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out.